Okay. So,
KBLA Talk 1580.
so we live now.
I think I did that wrong.
Yes, we are live.
Yeah, don't say that.
So, Mike,
Doot, doot,
we
doot.
talked about Prop 50 on my show this afternoon on the
Good.
politics.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I said, and we talked about, if Texas isn't allowed to gerrymander
Mm-hmm.
and redraw the lines, that even if they keep Prop 50 in place, they don't use it. That they just keep it in place just as a safeguard. But they don't use it because if they do, then the same thing that they were saying that Donald Trump was, that's what they are. If they said that if it's cheating when the Republicans do it, then it's cheating when the Democrats do.
Yeah. What do you feel? What do you feel is going to happen?
Um, I'm thinking that I'm thinking that um, if um, if Texas isn't allowed to do it, then we need to stand down. That's what I would promote.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Hmm. So Mike, are we? So what are we doing? 12, 12, 9, 4, 4.
Yes, please.
Okay. So we got about 7 minutes.
Yeah. Had you ever met Jimmy Cliff?
Yes. Yep. He gone now. Gone with the
Yeah.
ancestors. It's a trip. You know what's crazy, Mike?
What's that?
Um, like I'm 63. I'm about to be 64, right? And just 10 years from now, 74,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be a lot different than 64 if I make it to 74, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then 84 would be a lot different than 74. Just
Mm-hmm.
how the body just starts to whittle and whittle away. And a person that you see me at 64, at 63, right?
Mm-hmm.
Almost 64, and I'm pretty vibrant.
Yeah, for sure.
And just how the vibrancy, it ebbs away so quickly, so much of it so fast because you would think that in 20 years it's only 72, 7,300 days. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Okay.
It's not really a whole bunch of time. It's only
No.
7,300 days.
Yeah, put it that way.
But when you start looking at 10 years is 3,650 days. And it's just amazing. And one of these days, I'm going to talk about the process of life, like how you're a baby, right? And you can do nothing. And then 365 days from the day you're born, how you're able to do stuff. And then 365 days from that, you're able to walk. And then 365 days from that, you're talking. 365 days from that, you're going to school. 365 days from that, and it's only 365 days. The intervals 8,760 hours, and it never become more or less the hours. It's the same. It's the same measurement of time. So when you say you've been around the sun 80 times, if you're 80 years old, that's what's happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's only been 80 times though. It's not like you've been around the sun 800 times.
Yeah, it seems like it would be more.
Just 80. So if I could talk to God, right? And God said, Jay, I'm going to grant you one wish. You know what I would wish?
No, what's that?
A year with 1,095 days.
Mhm.
You know why?
What? Why is that?
Because if a year was 1,095 days, that means you learn how to speak in year one. That means by year two, you be in school. By year three, you would you'd be the equivalent of a 9-year-old. You'd be pretty smart. By year four, you'd be the equivalent of a 12-year-old. So by the time you got to 20, right,
Mm-hmm.
you'd be the equivalent in understanding as a 60-year-old. So now you go into the world at 21 with a lot of wisdom and a lot of understanding. You're probably a lot more patient. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's deep. It's a good thought.
That's what I would do if I had that.
Yeah, mortality's coming after us.
Huh? What'd you say?
Yeah, mortality, it's coming after us.
It's over with before we get started. By the time you figure it all out, it's done.
True.
So tonight I want to invite everybody into a conversation that most of us, if we haven't avoided, we haven't talked about it. I'm not talking about the next election or the next decade, but the next century. Question is simple and in a lot of ways unsettling. Will the United States of America last another 100 years? Hey, EMAC. So, so this show, so we starting at 6 o'clock, and the show is hey, will the United States last another 100 years? Why or why not? I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you why not. So we're going to have a conversation on both sides of the coin. Okay, okay. So we're going to talk about it from both sides of the coin, and what we can do to to cause what we want to happen. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna go to the gym when I'm done here. I didn't go to the gym this morning. Go tonight, get a good workout in.
Very good. I think we are 1 minute out then.
Yeah. We're actually
You're sitting
28,
on top of it.
27 seconds, 26,
Yeah.
25, 24, 23
Yes.
seconds.
Okay, if we're ready, we can go. And so, yeah, this is for this weekend. It's Thanksgiving weekend.
Okay.
A great show. I'm gonna
He's
click this.
holding 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
The J.K. Show.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. I hope it's good for you. My name is Jay King. Welcome to the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We got a good one for you today. The United States, will it endure another 100 years? That's the question we're asking, and we're asking that of you. And I'm asking it even of myself. My name is Jay King. I'm the president and CEO of the California Black Chamber of Commerce. I'm also the leader and founder of the group Club Nouveau, and I do a morning podcast every Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on J King Network on YouTube and J King Network on Facebook. I also do radio on 97.5 FM KDEE in Sacramento. On Mondays from 1 to 3 p.m., I do a show called Politics with Keisha Matthews. And Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 to 5 p.m., I do a show called Traffic Jam, where I play a lot of music and have a lot of fun. Tonight on this show, on the J King Show, is where I do my more serious subject. So today I want to invite you into a conversation that most of us will or might avoid. We don't want to talk about it. And I'm not talking about the next election or even the next decade. I'm talking about the next century. And the question is simple and very unsettling. Will the United States of America last another 100 years? Today, we say our nation is powerful, influential, wealthy, innovative. But we stand on a precipice because we have the greatest military in the world, so we say today. We have a constitution that has survived wars and crises. We have unmatched innovation from the Silicon Valley to our universities. And we have a culture that shapes the world, whether it's music, media, or imagination. But we're also very deeply divided. We're very angry. We're very suspicious of one another. And our biggest threats are no longer foreign armies. Our biggest threats are our internal breakdown, our distrust of each other, and our slow erosion of unity, not just as a country, but even inside our own cultures. So America has the strength to last another century, but only if it chooses. So I'm going to give you a few reasons why I believe we may last 100 years. And then I'm going to give you some reasons why we may not last 100 years. So we can talk about our strong constitutional framework. We can talk about our global might and power through our military. We can talk about our economic innovation and our diversity. We can talk about the role we play on a global trade and diplomacy market. We can talk about technological advancement. Because these are some of the things that help ensure that we can last another 100 years. For instance, the U.S. Constitution has provided a durable foundation for governance and for balancing the power between the branches and allowing amendments and society to evolve. It's a flexible document. And what it has done is it has helped our country weather wars, economic crises, and social upheavals. The existence of a legal mechanism like the Constitution allows for adapting to change, such as judicial review and constitutional amendments. And what it does is it gives our nation the tools to correct itself over time. And in any society, adaptability is crucial to the long-term survival. And that's what the United States has done through its Constitution. It's how we and why we fought a civil war and then wrote in the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to change itself in a world that was changing. When you look at our global military power, even today in the state we're in, the United States maintains the most powerful military on earth. We have an unmatched global reach. And because of this, it deters external threats and preserves our national sovereignty. Nobody really wants to fight with the United States, but sustaining that power requires financial and political stability, which we've had over the years. And if it's managed well, our military dominance will ensure our security. If it's mismanaged, it's risky because it could have costly conflicts in front of us that will be damaging to our, not just our economy, but our infrastructure. We've never fought a war on American soil. Our American economy is diverse. It's innovative. If you look at Silicon Valley in California or Wall Street in New York, the United States continues to lead in technology, finance, and entrepreneurship. And again, it's our economic adaptability that enables our nation to reinvent itself in response to the shifting global markets. And as long as innovation thrives, so does our resilience. So when you look at the United States and who we are, we shape global policy through our alliances, through our trade agreements, through our leadership in organizations like NATO and the UN, and our leadership on the world stage often boosts internal stability by providing access to resources and partnership networks that reinforce economic and geopolitical strength. And that's why everybody always looks to the United States, whether it's for military help, resources, or financial aid. We are the largest economy in the world. As a matter of fact, the United States is so powerful that not only are we the number one economy in the world, one of our states, a state I happen to live in, California, is the number 4 economy in the world. And there's only 2 economies larger than the United States, other than, I'm sorry, Mike, let me go back. There are only 2 economies in the world larger than California, other than the United States, and that's China and Japan. Every other economy of countries is smaller than California. Because of our diversity, we are leadership in AI, biotech, energy, and space exploration. And what this does is this creates ongoing opportunities. Because of these innovations, we can solve existential threats like climate change or resource scarcity. If our leadership and our power, I'm sorry, Michael. If our leadership and our power, let me do this one more time, Mike, right here. If our leadership and our power harnessed responsibly, technological breakthroughs will support strong infrastructure, will support healthcare and security over the next century. Unlike other countries, other nations like Japan or Italy, the United States maintains relatively high immigration, which supports a younger and more dynamic population. When you look at us and why we're so good at what we do, is our diversity fuels creativity. Our diversity fuels entrepreneurship and cultural resilience. It offers adaptive energy during eras of change, again, if it's properly managed. When you look at our cultural influence, our American media, American music, and American culture are globally dominant. We shape values and trends worldwide. This soft power strengthens international ties and influence. A strong cultural identity also unites citizens across regions, and it gives our nation a cohesion that can survive political cycles. That's why we can be anywhere across the United States and have a connectivity to each other. And our states are like a lot of countries that are connected to each other, like France and the UK. They're right next to each other, but they're different countries. Our states are right next to each other, like countries are next to each other. The United States holds a vast reserve of land and water and minerals, and they provide a strategic independence when it comes to food, energy, and manufacturing. These resources, combined with advanced agriculture and energy technology, will provide us a long-term security if they're preserved responsibly. These are just a few of the things that power us and help ensure that we'll last another 100 years. When I come back, we're going to talk about what could destroy us. You're tuned into the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We'll be right back.
Got that. Yeah, that was good. God bless America.
All right, another 12.
Yeah. Yep. 12's good here. Thank you.
Okay, you ready?
Sure.
It's the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. My name is Jay King. California is a powerful state. Some say it could be its own country. But if California started to break away from the United States, and then Texas started to break away from the United States, because they both could be their own countries, but also Alaska, which is the most massive state that exists, even though it has one of the smallest populations. The reason why that conversation is a heavy conversation is because of the political polarization that has taken place in this country. See, the political division in this country has become so extreme that we don't trust the process that's been put in place that we call democracy. The democracy that we live in is an institution whose trust has been eroding over the last few years more rapidly than ever before. And if polarization pushes our country toward gridlock or conflict, right behind that comes crises. And history shows us that nations fail not from external threats, but from internal divisions. So without restoring shared values, without rebuilding the weakening unity that exists, these may be the first stones that are thrown in the pond of destruction for America. We're looking at the world right now, and in the United States of America, the economic inequality has gotten worse and worse over the centuries, but it's starting to even look more dire today because of the wealth gap that is continuing to widen. Concentrated economic power limits opportunity and fuels social unrest. We have farmers in this country that live off of exporting its goods. But now, because of tariffs, there has been an uncertainty in the farming business that is causing panic. In this country, Americans of African descent have long been treated unequally from an economic standpoint, whether it was land ownership, home ownership, business ownership, being able to invest, all limited by the government and its criminal actions, even against its own constitution. So long-term inequality is destabilizing, has been destabilizing, and continues to be destabilizing. And as we move into the next century, it could undermine democracy if it's not properly addressed. So you put the deep political polarization along with the economic inequality, and then you sprinkle the climate change and environmental strains that are taking place and the arguments that happen right there, whether climate change is real or not. What we do know is real is rising sea levels. What we do know is real is extreme weather. What we do know is real are the droughts and the wildfires that are threatening our infrastructure and our resources. And if our failure to address climate risk could lead to a mass displacement, it could lead to agricultural shortages. And it can also lead to resource conflict. We watched it happen in Los Angeles. Whole communities just burned down. People who owned homes that were worth hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. Their one big investment just gone. And you couple that with the debt crisis that exists in the country right now. Our national debt in the United States of America exceeds $34 trillion and growing. We are in a debt-driven physical crisis that could destabilize our whole economy. And just imagine if our future generations are trapped by this debt, by these obligations, social spending and security might just deteriorate. Once that happens, public confidence in our government, public confidence in our media, public confidence in our courts, public confidence in our election system will start eroding. And our democratic system relies on trust, relies on belief, relies on hope. Without it, legitimacy falters and extremism rises. And we're seeing that happen right now, today, where we question the legitimacy of our democratic process. We're seeing it right now where the extremism on the left and the right are at an all-time high. And this is where the social fragmentation takes place. This is where individualism and digital tribalism weaken our collective identity. We used to have a shared narrative, irrespective of what group we came from, of the American dream. Well, that's disappearing. And when a nation stops seeing itself as one people, that nation is at a higher risk of division. It literally takes 3% of the population to uprise to cause a revolution. In the United States, that's 10 million people. Just 10 million people to uprise. And we have a revolution brewing. These past few months ago, we had a Not the King movement, or Not a King movement. 7 million people. 7 million people came out for it. If that's not reason enough for an alarm to you, you're not paying attention to what's happening in this country. You couple that with the global competition from China and India. These are emerging global powers that challenge the United States and our dominance when it comes to trade, when it comes to technology, and when it comes to diplomacy. If these things are overtaken, if we are overtaken economically or militarily, the ability to shape global systems for us starts to weaken. And you couple this with the fact that a lot of our infrastructure is outdated and deteriorating. And if we don't modernize, if we don't become efficient, then our resilience will start to decline. And our failure to rebuild weakens our competitiveness. And it really weakens our living standard over time. Are we paying attention? Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you see what I see? There's a possibility the America we live in today might not exist in 100 years. I'm Jay King, and you're tuned into the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We'll be
Good. Thanks, Jay.
And then what do I have here?
This is a 9-minute segment here for you.
9-minute segment. You ready?
Yeah, sounds good. Yep, sounds great.
It's the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking about the United States of America, a country that has existed for some 249 years. One of the youngest countries in the world. Are we on the brink of destruction to the point that we won't exist 100 years from now? And if we are, what can we blame it on? Do we blame it on the rise of authoritarian alternatives where democracies globally are declining and authoritarian systems are rising as competing models? Is Donald Trump trying to be an authoritarian in a democratic country? Is our education on decline? They say in the United States of America, our average comprehension level is sixth grade, third grade in the Black community. And while these elite universities excel, our public education quality varies drastically. Millions of our citizens lack basic civic and economic readiness. When you look at our long-term national strength, it requires well-educated citizens capable of innovation and decision-making. Are we building those ideas today? When you look at the civil unrest and the gun violence, the United States experiences high levels of domestic extremism and armed violence. So if political conflict becomes violent at a scale, national unity could fracture irreversibly, fracture to the degree that it can't be fixed. And this is going to happen because of the misinformation and the media manipulation that takes place daily on digital platforms, where they're able to spread rapidly false information. This information can distort truths, can distort thoughts, can distort elections, can distort health decisions, and social stability. So without media literacy, without regulation, misinformation may undermine democratic function. And then you look at our supply chain. We have an over-reliance on overseas manufacturing. That weakens resilience, especially during global conflicts or pandemics. We watched it with toilet paper with COVID-19. So unless production capacity is rebuilt domestically in the United States, another crisis could cause shortages and, again, strategic vulnerability. So what we're walking into, you guys, is a morale and cultural drift. There's a growing divide that exists between the religious and the secular community. There's a moral and cultural drift between the urban and rural community, through the young and the old population, through the conservative and the progressive political landscape. Moral consensus is fading. And when a nation loses shared purpose beyond consumption and competition, that's where the struggle to unify for a long-term survival starts to exist. That's where the struggle is. What do we do? How do we change? How do we grow? As a country, as a nation, we hold a vast reserve of land and water and minerals. And these things provide us a strategic independence in food and energy and manufacturing. And these resources, combined with advanced agriculture and energy technology, will provide us a long-term security if we preserve them responsibly. When you look at American universities, they're among the best in the world. They attract global talent. So if we get a continuous influx of scholars and innovators that ensures intellectual leadership and provides long-term economic and scientific resilience, we'll be okay. But it requires us to live by the creed of America that anybody can be an American, that wants to pay into the American spirit. The entrepreneurial spirit is really one of the great windfalls we have in this country. Risk taking and entrepreneurial freedom are core American values. And these are the traits that fuel economic transformation and recovery. Countries like ours that can continuously reinvent themselves are more likely to remain relevant across generations. When we talk about people like Nikola Tesla, who was an American, but from Bosnia, he helped reinvent what America is today. So much so that we have a car named after him by another guy who was an innovator by the name of Elon Musk, who named his car Tesla after an American who was from Bosnia. Our legal protections and our civil rights progresses cannot be overlooked, even if they are imperfect. You see, the United States legal system preserves individual freedoms and allows challenges to injustices. Brown versus the Board of Education. The overturning of Jim Crow and the Chinese Exclusion Act. These things happen because the ability to correct ourselves over time is the hallmark of the durability of our democracy. Our past civil rights advances show that we have the capacity to change. The United States has rebounded from Civil War, the Great Depression, and multiple wars. Crises has historically built strength. So successful of future crises could reinforce our long-term endurance. We get to decide, you and me, whether America, these United States, will last another 100 years. I'm Jay King, and you're tuned into the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We'll be right back.
Very cool. Thanks, Jay.
Hmm.
So yeah, we're right on time still. We can go 4 and 4 if you'd like.
4 and 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. Our story is one of reinvention. From the Civil War to the civil rights movement, from the Depression to world leadership. America has survived because we always found a way to rise to the challenge. We remain the global center of technological advancement. The brightest minds from every corner of the earth still dream of coming here to build, to invent, and to prove what's possible. Our diversity is not a burden. It is our power. A fresh infusion of ideas, cultures, and creativity is what fuels our resilience. We possess vast natural resources. We have a young population if you compare us to a lot of other nations. And we have an economy that adjusts to the global trends faster than most. And when a crisis strikes us, whether it's a pandemic, a storm, or a financial collapse, we have a history of fighting back harder than before. Those are the traits. Those are the things that will build our strength. And America has the strength to last another century, but only if we choose it. Only if we dig in and say, we're not giving up. We're not going to let any one man or any one time period define who we are and what we are and how we grow in the future. We are not perfect. This is not a perfect country. It has not been kind to all of its citizens. I know. I come from a community that hasn't been treated well in this country. I come from a community where racism and bigotry, prejudice and bias has been on the backs of our ancestors from the time they came here as slaves and built this country, built it into the powerhouse that people call it and see it as today. If not for the slave trade, for cotton, for tobacco, for sugar, America wouldn't be great. And all of those things are because of the community I come from. When we come back, we'll conclude. My name is Jay King, and this is the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580.
Right on. Thanks, Jay.
Ready? You ready?
Yeah, 3.5 here if you don't mind.
3.5. Okay. It's the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. I hope you enjoy the show. If you like what we do here, please go to iHeartRadio and download their app and follow the Jay King Show. Subscribe to it, and you can listen to some of my past shows and the shows I have coming up in the future. No nation falls because of strength from the outside. It falls when it can no longer stand together on the inside. Political polarization today is at levels unseen since the Civil War. Trust in government, media, elections, and even basic facts is disappearing. Our debt climbs, our infrastructure ages, and our education system leaves millions unprepared for tomorrow's economy. Climate change threatens coasts and crops. Cyber warfare can cripple us without a single bullet fire. The wealth gap widens so sharply that social unrest grows with it. Too many citizens feel excluded from the American promise. And when we stop listening to each other, when truth becomes a matter of preference instead of principle, we place the nation's future in jeopardy. America is not guaranteed a future. It has to earn one. Our survival in the next century depends on whether we can rediscover our unity, not uniformity, unity. A shared belief that despite our differences, we're still connected by a common fate. It requires investing in education, not just innovation, listening more than we argue, holding leaders accountable regardless of party, facing climate, technology, and economy not with fear, but with strategy. It means placing responsibility over comfort and remembering that patriotism is not about never criticizing your country. It's about loving it enough to ask it to do and be better. So, will America last another 100 years? The answer is not written in history books or controlled by politicians. It is written every day in the choices we make, conversations we have, and the courage we bring to them. My name is Jay King, and you've been tuned into the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. I'll see you next time. How was that?
Yeah, okay, got it. What'd you think?
Everything?
Yep.
Letty, I don't think it, let me see if what you did worked on my page.
I sent you a picture of it.
It don't mean it worked. It don't mean that nobody came on it. So
What do you mean? You had over, yes, you had a turnout here. And
I'm talking about on my page.
well, oh, did you see it?
Yeah, but I think it has to. Yeah, but I see it all the time on my page. It just nobody comes on it because you have to do it from the other page.
Right, I did. Look, well, when you look in there, you'll see that I did do
All
it.
right. Okay.
And both links are in there, and it was public.
No.
No. Well, it says here.
I'm gonna show you. I know. I'm gonna show you how to do it. You'll see what I'm talking.
Okay.
All right, you guys. Thank you. So, is there anything else? Are we?
I just put up with what our brother Dallas said earlier.
Hey, Greg, what's happening, Horace? All right, that's it. We got it all.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Jay.
Did you like it, Mike? Was it a good show?
I did.
Did you learn anything?
Yeah, I took notes. I literally took notes. Yep.
What'd you learn, Mike?
I learned that we were 2 minutes long the first segment, but then we were 1 minute segment. No, we're good.
We're good.
I was actually talking to another engineer here during part of it, but I'm going to go back and make sure I don't miss anything and make you sound great.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Yeah. Have a great holiday.
You too.
And enjoy Thanksgiving with your family and friends. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Likewise.
Everybody.
All right, so I'll go ahead and end it here.
Yep.
Did-